Do the clapping thing? You know, that's what people do. I don't know why. I just know you're supposed to clap before recording.
It's because you got multiple cameras.
But yeah, so this is a new thing that dropped, Ben. Have you ever heard of Ashoka?
Ahsoka.
Oh, what did I say?
Ashoka.
Ashoka?
Actually, it's Ahsoka.
Well, before we start anything, let's introduce ourselves. My name is Drew with the Knights of Nostalgia gaming page.
Ben with the Beer Thrillers.
And who doesn't like a good beer thriller? Oh, you brought some. What would the Beer Thrillers be without a beer right on hand? Actually, I got one too. So, yeah. So we are going to be watching Ashoka here, episodes 1 and 2, while we record and talk over it. Which means some things might be lost on us.
We're gonna lose a lot of it. We're gonna lose a lot.
I guess my question before we start is, since we'll talk a little bit about things Star Wars related. What are you expecting from this show, Ben? And you would consider yourself a hardcore fan. You're a bigger fan of Star Wars than I am.
I guess I would probably fall in the hardcore spectrum of Star Wars. I read the books, which is probably, that's probably the line in the sand, I would bet.
Well, you read the new books and the old books.
Right.
And you've watched basically everything Star Wars for the most part.
I will say I have, sadly, a vague knowledge of Rebels. I think it was more of a show I put on the background when doing stuff rather than fully watching. What do I want out of it? Obviously, I want good storytelling. Obviously, we want a good show, but as far as because we have a bare bones knowledge of what this is. It's taking place right around the time Mando's and season 3 of Mando's ending. We have the relative knowledge that Ahsoka's looking for Thrawn because Thrawn and Ezra left at the end of Rebels. And we had the general knowledge of behind the scenes stuff that Filoni and Feige, I think, or maybe it's not Feige because he's Marvel, but Filoni and Favreau want to do.
He might have his hands in some pies.
Right. They want to do Mando starts tying into this. Ahsoka ties into it. What was the other stuff they wanted to tie into it? There was a few others.
I thought Mando was the sort of the beginning because they dropped Thrawn's name.
Right.
I have a tertiary knowledge of what Thrawn is from the card game and from the old EU. I don't really know what he is in the new EU.
So Thrawn, from Rebels, is still relatively the same as the old Thrawn as far as he's into art. He uses art to figure out, cultures.
Are we seeing Hannibal Lecter in space?
Yes, to a degree. The biggest change from old EU to new EU Thrawn is his post Endor stuff. So post Endor, old Thrawn comes back 5 years after Endor. Basically, I'm trying to remember the timeline. Would have been right after the comics of Emperor Reborn type stuff. He uses Jorah C'baoth, which is a crazy Jedi clone, ex-Jedi clone or whatever. He uses the Yasala Miri animals that can make force bubbles to keep people out of the force. And he wants to use the Katana fleet of dreadnoughts to take over the New Republic.
Okay.
That's all gone so far because there's been no post-Endor Thrawn yet.
So this is essentially a fresh start. The Thrawn we're getting here is just going to be a brand new character.
They showed him in Rebels, and they showed him as the Grand Admiral. And there has been books Timothy Zahn, the original. He did the original books of Thrawn in the old EU. He's written some new books in the new EU, and generally they've been all pre-Endor, I believe. And it's basically just why Thrawn joins with the Empire, and it's pretty much similar to the old EU. He knows on the outskirts, in the wild space, the unknown regions, there's aliens that are a bigger threat to the galaxy than even the rebels and stuff. And he's he joins the Empire because he's well, we can consolidate forces and friend of my friend is best against an enemy type thing. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, I guess is the saying. So. But tertiary-wise, for this, Thrawn should be relatively the same.
Hopefully, if it ain't broke, don't try and fix it.
Right. The biggest thing is final episode of Rebels. Ezra Bridger comes up with a game plan to eliminate Thrawn by using space whales.
Well, hopefully we won't see any space whales in this masterpiece.
We
coming
saw
up.
it in Mando. Remember in the one hyperspace scene, they showed a whale in the hyperspace?
How could I forget that?
He forgot about
Well, what I want from this show, because I'm, unlike you, I think...
Unlike
No, I didn't mean that in a condescending manner. I don't know much about the EU.
Right.
Even the old EU, I have a loose knowledge of, mainly from video games that I played when I was a kid, and just hang out with you and Rory and a few others. But right now, I don't know anything about the EU outside of the mainstream movies, and I'm on the boat that I think.
You've seen the shows too.
Yes, I have, and I'm on the boat that most of it is just god awful right now.
Right, yeah.
Excluding Andor, I thought Andor's not perfect, but I thought. It definitely puts writing in characterization like way ahead of the pack.
Yeah.
It was clear that somebody had like a story they wanted to tell, and like somebody like had an actual a burst of inspiration and said, "I'm going to write." Because I after I was so jaded from like, I mean, I'm not a fan of those sequel movies in general. Rogue One is okay to me. I didn't love Rogue One. And I didn't really care much for the Andor character in Rogue One.
Yeah.
But after seeing Andor the TV series, I was like, holy shit, this is really, really good.
That's actually almost the depressing thing, is that Andor is not the best part about Rogue One. He's not the worst part about it, but he's not the best part about Rogue One. But his show's become the best Star Wars anything since Disney's took over.
Well, there's a lot of people that say it's the most non-Star Warsy thing because there's no lightsabers, there's no AT-ATs, there's blah 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 blah. So yes, visually, I guess I would agree it's not really Star Warsy. But if you put plot and story ahead of it, I think it's just a solid story. And there was a couple times there's like the prison thing.
Right.
I don't want to go into too spoilery because if you haven't seen it, you should see it. Especially if you've been not liking Star Wars recently, like a bunch of us have.
Well, so,
Book of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan and Mando Season 3. Like, we got those back to back to back.
Right.
And those might have been the most depressing, like, some of the worst writing I've ever seen.
But so, in that vein, like, when we want to discuss, like, what is Star Wars, I feel like the trope is stormtroopers, TIE fighters, X-Wings, lightsabers, Jedi versus Dark Jedi, Jedi versus Sith, or whatever.
I mean, those are the hallmarks,
but does everything absolutely have to have that?
No, I mean, I would say no, especially after seeing Andor.
Right. But so when you say that, though, like, when you, you're not complaining about it, but, like, when people complain that, like, Andor is not Star Wars enough, is that because there's not enough fighting, not enough action, not enough typical stereotype, the telltale Star Wars logos, icons, symbols, lightsaber, X-Wing, AT-ST, like Vader, droids, whatever. Can Star Wars move away from that?
Well, I was going to say, because I think the sequel trilogy, one of the worst things about it is just their world building in general. I was going to say Mandalorian Season 1 is like sort of in the right direction with world building an expanded universe sort of style. And I think Andor is also a good example of making it seem like a lived-in universe, as they say. And not everything has to be like the big epic things. Yes. Although Andor has at least 2 moments that I would consider pretty epic, even if it's smaller scale.
Right.
But if you want that goosebumpy feeling from a story, you'll get that in Andor. And you're not going to get that in Obi-Wan. You're not going to get that in Book of Boba Fett. You're certainly not getting in Mando Season 3, because that was a clown show.
I would say the world building is better in the prequel trilogy, though, than the sequel. The sequel trilogy has like 0 world building.
No, it's initially just recapping A New Hope, and then it just goes off the fucking rails.
Right.
But,
well, yeah.
Now, I mean, we could talk for hours on that stuff, but we're not going to, because Ahsoka's the main draw tonight.
8 hours later.
Yeah, believe me, we've gone on. And then Snoke shows up. Fucking nobody knows the fuck Snoke is.
We're like just beer cans everywhere.
And then Rey just starts healing fucking things left and right.
There's like a dune worm pops out of nowhere.
We got a... Well, no, so I was going to say, we're going to look at this pretty objectively. We're probably
no
going
bad faith views.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, we're going to do our best not to do any bad faith. You know what, I went into House of Dragon wanting to bad faith hate it. And I couldn't because it was too good. It was just too good.
There's a few scenes that are...
Same with Andor.
Yeah.
It took a while for me to watch Andor, but I was like, I'm not going to like this thing. I'm going to fucking hate it. And then by the third episode, I'm like, this is actually pretty good. So, once again, I think we'll call out things that we like. If something happens, it's awesome or whatever. We'll
right out the gate. Let's just set preliminaries so people watching know.
We might make fun of things, but that doesn't mean we necessarily hate it.
Right.
But for my memory goes to Mandalorian season 3 when you pointed out that extra who's like little stacking pebbles after rebuilding like a town, and that's ridiculous. Like that's worth laughing at.
That's the level of like it's.
It's not necessarily bad. It's just funny. So we're gonna dunk on easy shit like that.
That's the level of like you want to visually show people rebuilding without having to actually explain or having people who have the knowledge of how to rebuild a town. So you just have extras do things that look like you're rebuilding, and it's like stacking pebbles.
Let's just do something. There was a scene of Rings of Power that's very similar when all the elves are escaping the orcs that are chained up, like in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
The one, if you look at the one extra, he's just grabbing at his chain to like trying to pull it apart.
Like that, like he has the strength.
It defeats the purpose of a chain if you can just do that.
Right.
But it's just that was an extra giving bad direction on what to do.
I mean, extras are extras for a reason. And I think we can nitpick most extras in any movie. But before we go into it.
Yeah.
Baseline knowledge of things. You've never seen Rebels.
Right. You might have to, while we're watching, if somebody you recognize shows up, please point it out because if it's already pre-established,
right.
I should probably know.
You've never seen the Clone Wars show either.
Not really, except for a few clips here and there.
Okay.
My knowledge of Ahsoka is very limited. I know she was Anakin's Padawan, right?
Right.
Okay.
You haven't even seen trailers for
Rosario Dawson was in a couple episodes of whatever.
Mando, yeah. Right. But like even more generic, like even on like a movie show, whatever. You haven't even seen trailers. You haven't seen.
No. I'm
nothing.
Going totally fresh in here. I have no idea what to expect. I know
Okay.
It must take place either during or after Mando season 3.
My knowledge.
My guess.
I have seen the trailers. My knowledge is that it's congruent, I believe, with season 3 of Mando, or at least like tail end of Mando season 3, right at the end of Mando season 3.
So yeah. So what I'm just hoping for is I want it to either be laughably as bad as Mando season 3, so that it'll at least be like fun to.
Right.
It'll be fun to dunk on if it's that bad. Or I would like something on the same level as Andor. What I would hate is like boring nothing. Like if it's boring and not, I can't even make fun of it. Then,
will this be more mainstream viewable? Like Mando is pretty mainstream viewable. Like a person who hasn't seen really a lot of Star Wars can watch Mando and be okay with it. Like starting from season 1 of Mando anyway.
I think the casual fan is going to be confused, but they were probably confused with Mandalorian either because they probably don't really know much about any of that stuff.
Like as long as like I'm saying like you've seen like say Star Wars in passing, like you've watched the movies but not like faithfully, like you haven't watched them more than once, you could watch Mando and be happy.
Right, yeah.
This probably will be similar to that, I would think. It's going to have lightsabers, it's going to have duels, it's going to have fights. The only big thing is the characters are all pre-established characters.
Well, I was going to say there's that. And so before we get into the meat and potatoes here, what are we predicting for this season? Like, what do you have anything you think is going to happen? Or because remember in Book of Boba Fett, I mean, it was god awful, but we predicted that we were going to get that like money shot of Dengar, Bosk, and Forlom. Like, they didn't do it.
No.
It was the strangest thing. I could not believe that they held back on not bringing back all the bounty hunters.
I was also expecting a full Godfather Fett scene, like because they showed that in the trailer for Book of Boba Fett, where he's like at the round table and there's like Trandor Shans and like the Wookiee and stuff.
That wasn't in
and
there.
that was we did not get Godfather in space.
He was like, I'm a crime lord, even though all I got is two guards.
And I want to make the town good.
We need to get rid of the spice.
Right, he's like a good Godfather. For this, so we know we had to kind of start building. Like I'm assuming because we had the general out of universe knowledge that like this Mando maybe Book of Boba Fett, and a few other shows are going to lead to a movie in like 2-3 years.
Maybe. Maybe like an Avengers-esque, like sort of.
And that's been the general out-of-universe story of what we've been told.
That's fair.
And I have to assume the big bad for that movie will be Thrawn.
No, it'll be Moff Gideon again.
I mean, honestly,
he's gonna come back again.
I would legit not be surprised by
They're gonna
that.
pull a mission. They're gonna pull a Mission Impossible, and like the person you think Thrawn's, he's gonna pull off his purple fucking face, and it's gonna be Moff Gideon. The whole time he's up to his diabolical, and he's gonna show up with more guys than he had before.
I want you to cut to it like you saying that, and then me just literally spending like 10 minutes drinking a beer.
Because
it's just like I can't stop drinking because of the things you're saying.
Okay. So, like I said, I don't know too much about Ahsoka. I'm going to predict we will get a Baby Yoda and Mando cameo.
Maybe not this episode.
It definitely won't be what's his name in the suit. It'll be a stunt man.
Right.
But
I don't think. I think episode 1. Well, here's the thing though. I'm curious because they decided to release both episodes 1 and 2 same night. So 1 might not be the cliffhanger. 2 might be the episode 2 might be the cliffhanger.
2 would be a more appropriate place for a cliffhanger, so people keep watching.
Right.
You know?
So maybe final scene of episode 2 is Thrawn.
We get the reveal of Thrawn. Yeah.
Right.
That would make sense from a structure standpoint. Like it's sort of like in your monster movies, your like Jaws. You don't show your monster until like the end of the first act.
Yeah.
30 minutes in is when you finally see the monster or whatever. So yeah, we might get that. Okay, deep fake Luke. Yay or nay? Are we getting that?
Not in the first. Like he's late season if we see him.
He'll come in at the 11th hour and save the day or something.
Because at this point he should be starting up his training academy, I guess.
He still has his robot spiders building the temple. But I thought she was hanging out with Luke.
But this is one. And here's another thing that's kind of bad about Star Wars, but it's not bad, but it's bad. Like Marvel at least.
So why do we like a bad thing then?
Right. Well, like Marvel at least, everything just builds upon itself. Like there's no going back. Like Marvel's not going to make a movie or a show that goes back in time, other than I guess Black Widow did.
Black Widow was a prequel, but
like everything else,
it was very out of place for when it came out.
Right, but everything now, and that's also a little bit of a COVID issue.
Yeah.
But everything else is like it's all timeline wise forward. Star Wars kind of jumps their own timeline.
A little bit, yeah.
And so like we don't know the exact 100%. Like right now, if you just tune in and click Ahsoka show without doing any research, any net viewing, anything, you don't know the exact placement on the timeline of where this show is.
Right. I was going to say one more thing before we get going. Thrawn, what do you think Thrawn's goals are? Is he merely trying to fill the power vacuum left over from like Return of the Jedi era? Or is he literally going to be like one of the starter-ups for the First Order? Or are they going to try and link Thrawn into that?
They gave a general, like the final episode or 2 of...
Is Thrawn working for Palpatine?
Right. They gave the final episode, like in the final episode or 2 of Mando, they gave like a general, like Thrawn's out there, like Pelion talks about him.
Yeah.
I don't want to, like I think Thrawn's endgame is Thrawn-based, but willing to use...
Like, does he have more of an endgame than just wanting to be in charge?
Yes. And I think that ties back to the old EU Thrawn. And I mean, it doesn't have to be this way. I mean, obviously that's the old EU. It can be whatever. But old EU Thrawn only went with the Empire to be able to prevent the galaxy from being destroyed by outside aliens. Old EU, it was the Yuuzhan Vong. I think in the new EU it's like a Grisk or something like that. So maybe he wants to like become Emperor himself to protect the galaxy from them.
I'd be fine if they made Thrawn even somewhat complicated. That would be a fucking miracle, I think, at this point.
Star Wars isn't great at nuance.
No, I would love a villain who's got... Well, Gideon has become very bland and just repetitive.
Oh, he's the epitome of the mustache twirling.
He is Cobra Commander at this point.
Right.
Or he just is...
Claw.
Or Dr. Claw. He's a Saturday morning cartoon villain in Star Wars.
I'll catch you next time, Mando.
Which is strange because it doesn't blend... Mandalorian is just all over the place with its like tone. It wants to be dark, gritty, like stylistic Western that's sort of violent, but then you've got Baby Yoda. But then you've got the Baby Yoda thing with the humor that's aimed at like little kids.
He hops around.
Let's try to swat him like a fly.
Well, like the biggest things, like Gideon even says, like I'll handle him myself. And meanwhile, lets him walk into his clone tank room, kill all his clones, and he's like, "Oh my God, you killed my clones."
Yeah.
Oh, why did you wait?
We're done talking about Mando season 3.
Horrible.
We'll talk. We end up talking about Mando for like ever because we hated that. So wait, yeah. Let me get rid of our little logos here, and we will start.
All right, get rid of your logos.
Let's start the show, everybody. Ahsoka. Let's do this thing. Introduction over.
All right,
wait,
what helmets are we going to see?
Master and Puppet? Is that what it said?
What helmets are we going to see in the little opening? I do enjoy the new...
It'll be the regular one, right?
I do enjoy the new opening. Like that. There's this.
Vader, 3PO.
Oh, there's the Ahsoka's droid was in there.
I saw DS61.
It's the Doctor Who guy. He's a droid.
I saw Bo-Katan.
He's also the House of the Dragon guy.
Red outline, just like in The Last Jedi. That's not a good sign. The Last Jedi was the only one that did that.
Jedi. Oh, see? Opening crawl. I told you there was an opening crawl.
Former Jedi Knight Ashoka Tano captured one of Thrawn's allies and learned of a secret map, which is vital. They're doing the secret map again. Ashoka's new searches for the map as her prisoners. Who's Morgan Elsbeth?
I don't like this. I think she was the one governor.
Is transported to the New Republic.
Lothal?
I don't know if that was a pre-established character.
I'm not sure 100% actually.
They're doing the map thing.
How lordy do you sit on your throne as you look over all
I don't like how cocky that admiral was.
Right.
What's the word, Com?
He's got 2 Sudafed on his shirt there.
Just in case he gets like a space cold.
Yeah. Or he wants to make the blue meth.
The signal. They say they're here to
Oh, come on. No one's using Jedi. This is like 30 years after the Jedi.
So it's a code that would let like the Republic, the original Republic, know.
Right.
Signal them to come aboard.
At this point, it'd be like finding a Jedi. It'd be like finding a fucking leprechaun.
Right. You're finding a Pokemon in the real world.
Yes, sir.
You've got the bridge, lady.
Why not just hold him in?
He looks like the Emperor.
He's got a cloak.
I guess
everyone with a cloak.
Anytime I see somebody getting off with a cloak, I always think of the Emperor.
Yeah.
When he's like, "Rise, my friend."
Wait, you're even willing to call him Imperial? So why would you let him on your ship?
And you, sir, should have surrendered when the Empire collapsed.
Yeah, the head commander shouldn't be like. What if he has a weapon?
Right. Like.
What if his whole point was to get close to him?
Yeah. A blaster. He pulls a blaster right now. You're dead.
Yeah.
Like a lightsaber.
Oh my God. Yeah, this wasn't very smart of them at all.
No.
So
that was bad acting.
Maybe he really just thought that they weren't Jedi. Like he's just.
But they would have at least a weapon then.
Well, they're
just out in space pretending to be Jedi.
They're super overpowered Force users.
This woman's like, oh shit.
She just puts the second Sudafed on her little thing.
Immediately got to the bridge. Immediately. Whatever, but like still. Oh, okay.
I kind of like the music, that little piano thing in the background. That's neat. This is what the Star Wars fans want, man.
No, I'm not.
Cool.
It's.
But you're right. Strategically, why did they let them on?
Everyone is stupid so far. No character has been proven intelligent other than the 2 bad guys.
Well, the person that really needed to be smart was the admiral or captain or whatever.
Right.
So these Imperial Jedi guys are breaking her out. And she knows where Thrawn is?
I think that's
Who's Balin?
him.
Well, why? Like, where'd he come from?
He's just a bad Jedi.
Like,
dude.
who trained him?
The Jedi.
The Jedi? He's probably like a former Inquisitor, right?
Oh, maybe. That's what I'm saying. It's like, where was he?
Right.
Okay, you're right. They should have had to like fight themselves on board or something.
I mean, I just don't like the idea that like the captain's like, I'm gonna call their bluff. They said they're Jedi, and it's like, well you're transporting a high
even
security.
If you're calling their bluff, maybe not send the king out to commune with the.
Right.
You know, if I can quote Magneto, in chess, the pawns go first.
Yeah. Yeah. That's Ahsoka.
I know who that is. That's Rosario Dawson. She's
in Clerks 2.
She's adamant about not going ass to mouth.
In Clerks 2.
In Clerks 2. No, in Star Wars.
They're on whatever planet.
I'm getting a Virgin Mary vibe from these things.
Yeah. This is definitely supposed to be like ancient Jedi thing.
Is this the This isn't the planet from Last Jedi, was it? Where the
Jakku?
No, where Luke was hanging out.
Octo? No, that was like an island planet. Because in Star Wars, you can only have one geographical...
One geographic per planet.
Yeah.
That's fair. One thing that I'm not impressed with is her like head tentacles. I think they look like pool noodles.
Well,
like it looks like they're made of. It looks like they're made of that foamy material. Because when she's got like these creases in them where they're bending, and they don't look like.
This is honestly actually.
You can see that. See, right. It looks like a pool noodle.
It's honestly been one of my criticisms of aliens in general in the Disney era, and mostly in the shows, not so much the movies, but in the shows anyway. All aliens just seem off.
A little bit. Well,
the Twi'leks in like Book of Boba Fett all felt horrible.
I was gonna say Return of the Jedi. Bib Fortuna's like head tentacles look slimy and organic. And they look great, honestly. Look back at Bib Fortuna's head tentacles.
Someone misted them probably before.
Yeah, they look slimy and stuff. These look like they're made of just like plastic. Like it looks like she's wearing like a headpiece.
Yeah.
I mean, I know she probably is.
It looks like the Lego. You add on the little piece of the Lego.
Yeah.
And it sits there.
It doesn't look like it's because her face is just. Or a human face that's painted.
Right.
But then that thing is clearly not made of, like, her...
It's just a Cadbury egg.
Oh, it's the Power Stone from Guardians.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Should we watch Guardians 1 instead?
Just hit pause.
We just
hit pause and, like, the next scene in for anyone watching, it's just Drax.
Come and get your love.
Yeah, his like dancing scene.
That's one of the best scenes in the Marvel universe. It's Guardians 1. It's a terrific movie.
Guardians 1, 2, and 3, actually. Even 2, which is probably the least favorite Guardians, is still good.
Yeah, it's better than most.
Yeah, better than Ant-Man. better than
Doctor
Strange 2.
Every Guardians movie is better than everything in Phase 4.
Yeah.
Except for Guardians 3, obviously. It looks like one of those droids that Grievous had.
Yep.
Like the...
That's definitely... It's like a model version of Grievous's IG droids mixed with Kylo Ren.
I like that. That's... We don't know who these guys are, though, yet.
No.
Oh. She's quick.
This feels like one of those scenes where they just want you to show that your main character is really good and she's strong.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you're... Well, this is for people that haven't watched anything about Ahsoka.
But here's the question.
You already probably know she's going to one-shot these guys.
Right. Here's the question, though, is like, she went into this archaeological place, found a map just randomly in like the temple area, and these guys waited for her after they left?
Well, I don't want to judge it too harshly yet, because we may get a reason of why she knew to go here.
But why were they waiting for...
And who are they? You know, we need. These are important questions. Who's Hu Yang?
Her droid.
Okay.
The Doctor Who guy from House of the Dragon.
Oh, it's him? Damon?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so they're blowing it up.
Their self-destruct is pretty...
Oh my God, it's like the Predator self-destruct.
Yeah.
It's just like, wait a minute, is it going to blow up the whole planet?
That's what IG-11 or whatever from Mando was supposed to do.
That's what the fucking High Evolution...
Oh, Jesus, that's
what the High Evolutionary did to that animal planet.
Yeah.
Star Wars gets really, really wishy-washy on do the droids have sentience or not.
Like, he's sentient, but like he's still beholden to his programming.
I kind of read into that he was just sort of cowardly hanging back because he didn't want to die.
Right.
Logic is out the window, folks. Look, the Green Ranger. See the Green Ranger?
The Power Ranger Green Ranger?
Look like the Green Ranger.
Okay, that's Harris.
Oh. That's a Twi'lek.
Yeah.
She's not a Twi'lek, right?
No, she's a Togruta.
Look at him. They have him frozen doing the first choke.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So they have security cam footage of this, but I'm assuming they destroyed that ship.
Yeah. Well, once it's on the cloud, bro, it's there forever.
Just, once again, that goes back to, like, remember episode 4 when, like, the technology that they showed the Death Star being blown up on is, like,
how come nobody ever checked, nobody of note ever checked the fucking security holograms in Palpatine's office?
Right?
Like,
right?
Obi-Wan fucking he just goes into the computer, pulls it right up, like, within 2 seconds, and there's like,
rise
from Darth Vader.
Some of them
so this is where all the rebels...
Who is this guy? I recognize him.
The actor?
Yeah. It's not the guy who plays Lord of the Rings. Who is this guy?
Oh, that's Mr. Krabs. Fuck. Okay, so I can never remember his...
From SpongeBob?
Yeah, I can never remember his name. He's Zim in Starship Troopers.
Yes.
He's the head security guard in Shawshank Redemption.
Yes.
Yep. I know.
He's in other stuff too. Like he's just in a lot of other things. Like he's in a lot of things.
You know what? I look up this guy's name like at least once a year, and I always forget it.
Once a year? You mean like once a week?
And I'll see it and go, oh yeah, that's him. Clancy Brown. Yep.
Okay.
Remember that name, although I won't.
When you edit this, put his name in like big font on the bottom of the screen. Be like,
he's a fine actor.
Remember him. So there's Hera, there's Ezra, Sabine.
Who's the purple man?
The purple man is Zed. He was in Mando. He was that alien that Dave Filoni talks to in the in the Hawaii bar in Mando.
Oh, fuck off.
Remember that alien?
Yeah, fuck
That's
off.
That's him.
Okay.
Zeb something. This is Sabine. She's like a Mando.
So we're forming a team? Is that what's happening?
Pretty much, yeah. It's going to be one of those... like the Rebels was like the...
We're going to have a montage of each character doing a crazy thing and...
Yeah. I'm betting. Because Rebels was basically like that... What do they call it? Uncanny Family or whatever they call it? Where like this guy doesn't seem like he... Like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, the team of misfits.
Right, that all join up.
This is Spectre 2. Oh, yeah. Spectre 2, that's a good name. She's not going to stop. She's going to do it. She's going to jump over him.
There's going to be... Yeah. She's accelerating. It says accelerating.
And she's going to... The person in the ship's going to freak out and go, what?
Yeah. Oh my god, you would never do that.
See? Yep. Predictable. Like the moth to the flame.
Yeah.
How stupid is this going to be, Ben?
This is going to be cringe.
This might be cringe. Might be awesome. Let's see.
Oh, the droid's ducking.
The droid... I like that. That was cute. Oh.
You left a gap.
The droid went, wow! Yeah, that wasn't as impressive as I thought it would be. I thought she was going to do some sort of big jumping over thing.
That's a space cat.
That's CGI barf is what that is. That's all that is. You know what that is? That's piss, what that is.
You're not impressed by that?
CGI, I mean, the CGI has to be really, really good for me to like go, ooh, look at that. That is not.
That's probably a puppet, right?
No, that's not.
You think it's CGI?
That is 100% CGI, dude. What's in that box? She's got a little rebel thing.
That's like one of the old Episode 1 comm links.
Yeah.
Remember when Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan I like that callback at least. It's like an old school...
A little throwback.
I actually had that as like a toy when I was a kid. It came with like little action figures I could stand on it. And when you put the action figure on it, it made them talk different. Like, and they each had like 3 catchphrases.
Oh, excellent.
You know, and like, okay, like Obi-Wan had his 3 phrases, Qui-Gon had his 3, Jar Jar, you know, Boss Nass.
Jar Jar said, Dello Feligits. And everyone clapped.
No, this is Episode 1, so no, we didn't get to that. Ezra and her were like, I believe, kind of like a Fry Leela. On, off, maybe not.
Ezra?
That's Ezra, though.
His name's Ezra, okay.
And he's the one who took Thrawn with the space whales and went into, like, the unknown regions.
Okay.
And that was, like, his great plan to, like, defeat Thrawn.
Actually sounded more like Mando than Sinister. This is like Darkside Daenerys.
Yeah.
A little bit.
So after that nuke blast, this is that planet Ahsoka was just on.
That you got like obliterated.
There would not even be stones. There would not be. None of this would be here.
Space stones, Ben.
Space stones are strong stones.
Yeah, you don't know. Who's that?
Is that the Morgan Elsbeth?
Oh yeah, you're right. She looks like she looked like she was Mom from Futurama, like wearing that dress, like that.
Yeah. And then she can just like pop out of it.
Like, yeah, like she has this big old timey like a. What's that called? The woman, the fancy woman at the ball.
Yeah.
Big dress.
You know, he's actually dead in real life.
That actor?
Yeah, Ray Stevenson.
Oh, he died after this wrapped? Oh, that sucks.
Like a month or 2 after they filmed this, he died.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah. I don't know what the Dathomir witches has to do with this. I'm not sure. I don't know enough.
Why are the dark force users like taking orders from her?
Right.
Why is she just really high up on the?
I don't. Yeah.
She apparently gave Ahsoka the direct.
She told her how to get to the map.
Yeah, you think a bad guy would have been like, send her somewhere like a full goose. Goose
Even
chase,
Leia does that with
Dantooine, yeah.
Yeah.
She actually just told her exactly where to find the map, and then she just went and got the map.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like there was like a couple robots there, but you know, they weren't too much.
But they waited to after she got the map.
So why does she? She actually has the Padawan, the little hair thing.
Yeah. She's his Padawan.
I know, but I thought Darksides didn't do that. Maybe.
Oh, the Darksides do that now.
They do it twice as much.
They do it harder.
They do it harder, faster, more intense.
Yeah. It's like Mike's Lemonade.
Look at those Scout Trooper helmets. I'm getting more fun just looking at the back. Look at that. Like,
yeah.
What if their heads are still in there?
Like the Ewok thing?
Yeah, like the heads are all still. Like that room smells horrible. It's just like rotten brains and skull.
I am enjoying the detail. They did put a good bit of detail into this.
Yeah, the sets look fine.
Yeah.
I think the sets are cool looking.
The sets definitely look better than Obi-Wan.
I like some of the friendships here are kind of neat. They're kind of okay. Ashoka's still a bit of a blank slate for me.
Yeah.
I mean, people who know her more intimately probably like her better, but like she hasn't done anything other than say basically nothing and
found a map
and cut things up.
Are they now like speaking terms?
Wistful music? What's wistful? Ben, what's wistful?
This is very wistful.
Give me a mirthless chuckle.
Right. Or like, are they supposedly non-good speaking terms though? Is this like a standoff that I'm not aware of? She like throws it, just does like the Luke chuck of the lightsaber.
No, I want her to open that thing, and then it's the troll doll from Guardians. Remember that? Remember Fun?
You know what was the best scene ever? Was when Luke took the lightsaber and just threw it over his shoulder.
Fuck. Way to kill.
You loved that scene. You told me about that for days.
I can't believe how you end The Force Awakens on that, like, sort of that epic note where, like, the camera zooms out of the horizon and the music swells before the credits, and then just to get that payoff, just so somebody can go, huh. Like, so stupid. Like, how dare you? How fucking dare you waste our time? 2 years on that, you piece of shit. Oh, they're Koroks. Did you see the Koroks?
Yeah, they're Koroks.
Did you see the fucking Koroks? They're right there. He doesn't know what a Korok is.
Yeah.
He only found 899 of them.
I didn't get the 900 of them.
He's still looking for that last one. You refuse to use a guide. I'm going to get that last one.
I'm going to find it on my own. We're talking about Breath of the Wild, not Tears of the Kingdom.
No, you haven't started that one yet. That's another 900. Ben, what's happening? What's the plot here? There's a map.
There's your stereotypical MacGuffin that was found in the first 2 minutes of the
We can't call that a MacGuffin because it was.
Right.
If the rest of the thing isn't about the map, then it's not a MacGuffin.
Like, Godfather's not going to give you a pound of exposition out the gate. Like,
I'll say Game of Thrones Season 1, Book 1.
They drop you in it.
Drop you right in, and you just sort of pick up the world as you go along.
Right.
And it's a pretty fun.
Most fantasy does that.
It's a fun journey for the most part. To like sort of
figure
things out.
You know there's a history, you know there's a future. You're in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the way it should be.
Like, older generations reference things that happened a lot of times.
Fargo did that.
Yeah.
They mentioned the Sioux Fall massacre, and you just accept it.
Yeah. Full Metal Alchemist has like the whole history of the country and the Ishvalan extermination.
That's the... Which one is
Full Metal Alchemist.
Right. Attack of the Titans. There's the whole... like Wall's been there. There's like
there's a lot of world building. And Attack on Titan has a lot of like history and stuff like that going on.
But you're dropped in the middle of that one too.
Yeah.
There's no like.
You get a quick little synopsis. You do get like a text crawl in the first episode, sort of like explaining what this is. I think in fantasy text crawls, I mean, it doesn't have to be exactly like Star Wars, but a fun little thing that sort of lets you. I think Dune does that too, doesn't it? It gives you a little.
Dune does similar to Mistborn, where each chapter has like a quote. Like thing.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to kind of piece together where this quote might fit in.
Yes, and in Mistborn you get a huge payoff to that.
I think that there's highways and there's not been a single car in these highways.
Yeah, it's like, what, I was like, is she racing? Like, It doesn't seem like it would be very hard because if it's like any other vehicle in the universe, like there's a max speed where you stop speeding, and it's just a straight line.
Right.
So eventually you'll get to top speed, and then you just keep going, or.
But why is there no one else on these highways?
Oh, she's got a Sith probe droid.
Yeah.
Oh, it's doing the. Ever since Empire Strikes Back.
I just. Do you ever do that? Do you find yourself just walking around the house like while you're cleaning? Yes, I do that. It's just a map though, but okay.
That's the same map they were looking at earlier.
Yeah.
Or are we going to get another Indiana Jones bit where they realize they're digging in the wrong spot?
Remember when you were in school and they brought the projector?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
That's literally what that was.
You knew it was going to be a boring ass class, and when they busted those fucking things.
This is how sand is made.
Or when they wheel in that giant thing with the TV on it, the big 4x4 wheel.
The
thing.
RVA.
Yeah.
And then they put the VHS in it.
No, we're gonna watch a video. One of the funniest bits ever in the Beavis and Butthead movie, the original movie, is where like their TV gets stolen. And Butthead goes, "I think I have an idea," and it just immediately cuts to them wheeling one of those TVs like out of the school.
I got an idea. Let's just wheel this thing back to the house.
I love the fact that they just dressed her like fucking Porco Rosso. I love it. Do you know who that is?
No, but you mentioned earlier about World War I.
Yeah, Porco Rosso is an anime by Miyazaki, the guy who did Spirited Away. Mm-hmm. The English version is Michael Keaton, but Porco Rosso is about a World War. It's a pig. But he's dressed just like this. He's an animated Porco. He's a pig, and he flies a World War I bomber, and he's like a mercenary, and he flies around and does stuff.
Why is there like a pig idea? Like Jack Porkins was a pig.
He was just a fat guy.
Wait, what?
He wasn't a pig.
Oh, no.
He was just a fat guy.
Oh.
He was he's the guy from Batman.
Jack, no.
He was Eckhart from Batman. He's like, "Hey, Eckhart, think about the future."
There's also the Rogue Squadron books in the old EU has a Gamorrean guard who's like able to like speak, and he becomes a Rogue Squadron pilot.
Okay.
He's a pig.
That's fine, I guess.
But he's in a World War I uniform.
That's a fucking pool noodle. You see those? Do you see those creases? It's like a kid was riding it in the pool, and then they just put it on her fucking head.
Ben Burt's son was like using that in the pool, and then they put it on.
Yeah, and they painted it and said, "We'll just use this pool noodle. It's cheaper than making a real thing."
Is the map trope why is there why and how is there a map to Thrawn? He got whisked away.
And why is it hidden in an ancient temple?
Right. He was whisked away by space whales.
And the thing about people is that you can
move.
You can leave. So that map becomes useless the second you leave.
Right. Unless this map is like Google Maps.
Like it follows him specifically.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, fuck, they already established in Star Wars you got those things.
Like there's
Mando. What is it called? The trackers?
Why
don't they get one of those for Thrawn?
I hate it. I will go down. I will take my pirate ship to the grave.
I just they call it Carl Weathers got all those. Why doesn't he get one for Thrawn?
I would literally take my pirate ship to the grave on this one. The tracking thing that's introduced in season 1 of Mando is one of the dumbest ideas. Yeah. And it's like briefly mentioned and then it's thrown out the window.
It was like it was like the fucking
it's the pilot episode and then not shown again.
Yeah, the midichlorian stuff. It was like brought up once. Oh, everyone hates it. Okay, yeah, get rid of that.
Well, what is this like? How is it? That's
so
not a map.
We're getting a lot of shots of them just staring at like holograms.
That's not a map.
And well, she's taking a picture. It's that room that she was in, right?
Yeah, but that's not a map. That's a picture.
Well, there's lines and stuff, and there's probably they represent stars or something.
That's blown up now, though. Anyway.
Well, they have pictures though, even though it's gone. Oh, there's markings on the ball.
It's a pentagram.
You twist it the wrong way, Pinhead shows up and takes you to hell. The poor rebellion didn't know what hit him.
Hell is in Star Wars. Hell is canon. Because Han says, "I'll see you in hell" in Episode 5.
He does. So the Christian hell exists in Star Wars.
Right. I think this is the first. It's like a Rubik's cube, and she's just now thinking about turning it.
Oh yeah, they just now have fucked with it this way.
Yeah. It's a map that no one thought of turning the knobs on it.
Maybe she messed around with it. She's like, I don't know. I'm terrible at these.
The first thing I do when I'm given a Rubik's Cube is just to literally go like this with it.
Well, first you would see.
Well,
first you would see how can you twist it.
Right. That's the first thing I do.
But that was super easy.
Like a 2-year-old.
She did like 2 things. And
yeah.
It was...
But like the first thing I'm given when I'm given like a cube or a fidget spinner or anything that rotates and moves as like a 2-year-old who has ADHD, DDH, I just start like twisting.
A whole lot of H's in that.
I just.
Luckily, we've got the cure for that. It's called Preparation H. That was like weird. She like literally was just like, oh wait, these things move. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Oh. Look.
Ashoka should have figured that out, right?
Oh.
You don't have to be a
We got one of
genius.
those robot things just jump. She just punched a robot.
Yeah, these things are. I would if I can go the rest of my life without having to punch a robot in the face.
Right.
Like, the thing about these robots is like they shouldn't be experiencing pain or anything, right?
Yeah, they should just always be hitting.
Oh, he's fucking up her work.
The robot he just assumed that other robot will kill her, and
why is the robot not like getting her into like a full Nelson?
Right, he cannot feel pain. You literally can sacrifice yourself.
You shot the robot in the foot, and he went ah.
A robot should just headbutt like non-stop. Bop,
she shot the robot in the foot, Ben.
Right,
and that hurt him. Mandalorian.
Oh, shit, there's the lightsaber woman. But she has a lightsaber now.
Wait, does she know how to use that?
I don't know.
I guess we'll find
Maybe.
out. Why? She can just force grab the lightsaber, right?
But she sends the droid out because this is how movies and shows.
No. She's gonna handle this. So she should wallop her, right?
Theoretically.
Or does Sabine know the Force?
I don't think she does. I think she's just like a Mando chick.
Well, if this is a trained, like, Sith apprentice, then this should be like.
It should be a cakewalk.
Should be pretty easy, I would think. Who knows?
My money's on the hot chick.
Something's gonna interrupt this fight before it happens. Oh, or not. Or maybe she'll just toy with her. Although, why toy with her?
They're there for the map,
bad guy hubris.
I hate bad guy hubris. It's such a stupid trope.
Well, it's such an excuse for
bad
storytelling.
Right.
You know? People will defend bad guy hubris to the death.
Yeah.
So we're establishing that this Sith apprentice is not all that great then.
Why is the dude not there then?
He assumed she could handle it.
Well, what is he doing? Just like chilling and like he's eating like pork rinds and like
it just cuts. He's eating nachos grande in like a bar.
Right.
He's like shoveling.
Just like waiting for like she'll be back soon.
Shoveling guacamole is like.
yeah.
The bartender has to cut him off.
I'm just waiting on my daughter.
I'm just waiting for my thing.
Gymnastics is over in an hour. When she's done with gymnastics, I'm picking her up and I'll be out of here.
Oh, it's almost happy hour. 99-cent margaritas.
Yeah. It's the Red Bull vodka pitcher for $9.
Man. It's this whole thing where it's like this lightsaber fight's been going on for so long that they have the time to get the ship all the way over here to do the. She's gonna jump out of the ship cool. And,
yep. And she'll.
But here's the thing: they're fighting like kind of evenly.
Yeah.
Right? Like.
It's not even one-sided.
It's not one-sided at all.
Oh! And she'll. Yeah.
But here's the thing: they're fighting like kind of evenly.
Yeah.
Right? Like.
It's not even one-sided.
It's not one-sided at all.
Oh! Well, then again.
No.
Oh, shit.
I've seen Star Wars. You can get stabbed to the chest.
Qui-Gon doesn't.
Not Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon dies.
Reva gets stabbed twice. Yeah, getting run through with a lightsaber means nothing anymore. It means absolutely nothing.
It meant a lot if you're
Was that the end?
Qui-Gon.
Was that the end?
Yeah, I think that's the end of the episode.
For our friend Ray. Oh.
That's the guy, the actor who died.
Oh, that's sad.
That's the end of the first episode.
Okay. Well, we'll wait until the credits roll, then we'll pause it and we'll have a little discussion.
Yeah.
It's like Lord of the Rings. Almost.
I'm not. I don't know. I'm not digging the end credits, but it's whatever it is. End credits.
No, the music. I think the music's fine so far.
Yeah.
You don't like the lines and stuff?
No, I don't know.
So it looks like the credits is about the map.
It's just the map.
The map being
Well,
like.
I just don't dig the idea that everything's coming down to a map again.
And they're. It's sort of Game of Thrones-y. Too, a little bit.
I just don't like the idea that it's like, oh, there's a map to Thrawn. I want there to be a different reason that Thrawn.
Well, I hate the idea that, like I said, Thrawn can just leave from wherever he's in, and then the map now is useless. It's a big fucking galaxy.
It's literally a galaxy of 5 bajillion million.
Wait, Elizabeth.
That's
Elizabeth Weinstead.
Ewan McGregor's wife.
Yeah, Elizabeth Weinstead. Was she?
Sabine?
Was she?
I think so.
I didn't recognize her. I'm gonna really look for her this time if she was Sabine. She might have been. Because I don't know who else she would have been.
She's David Tennant. That's the guy from House of the Dragons.
Yeah.
And he's the droid.
He was Doctor Who, right?
Yeah. My only thing is, I just don't like the idea of, like, if this was the first time doing the map thing, maybe it's okay. But we always saw the map to Luke.
And the map to Luke, the first time they did the map thing, it was bungled hardcore.
Right.
So.
But, like, I don't feel like it matters either in this.
But.
Like,
I'm hoping the map thing gets wrapped up super. If the whole season. If the whole season's about this map, then yeah, that's gonna be.
Well, my issue also is, why is the reintroduction of Thrawn about a map when the introduction of Thrawn should be Thrawn just makes himself known?
Like he does something to let everyone know.
Right.
There's a new sheriff in town.
Or I don't even mean like Thrawn starts like a plan. Toil and
Yay!
trouble.
All right.
I'm not against the episode. I'm really not. I thought it was an okay episode.
For being the longer episode of the bunch, not too much happened.
There was a lot of I will say there was a lot of just staring at things.
Introductions of Sabine, the governor character, the two new dark side villains. I don't really know where they came from or what they had. I want to hear more from them. But.
So I feel like there'll be the heavies while Thrawn is the intelligent bad guy.
Like I said, you're predicting Thrawn shows up at the end of this next episode.
Well, as like
a setup,
right?
Like we just see him. Maybe he doesn't even say anything.
Right. Like you get that like reveal where like the guy's talking and then you turn around and you see the blue face.
Or like you see a man in a white Imperial suit sitting, staring out like a window or something like that.
And then you get like a hint of blue skin.
Yeah.
And you know, and like that's your way of knowing. Because there's three characteristics of Thrawn. Blue skin, the devil red eyes, and like that white immaculate Grand Admiral.
Did all the Grand Admirals have the white suits?
Yeah.
Okay.
But like it was always a bigger deal with Thrawn because like he's a very
sort of prissy with his appearance, right?
Yeah.
Or,
yeah.
Is he very ego driven?
Yes.
On the sense
I would say so.
Like narcissism? Or?
I don't want to say narcissism. He's just a guy who knows that your presentation defines.
Like, does he look down on people who don't have?
Yeah.
Like sort of like Hannibal-esque.
Yes. Yeah.
Like he has contempt for people with bad manners.
You know what? Hannibal is probably actually one of the best ways to describe Thrawn from an out of Star Wars universe way.
Okay.
Like he's very meticulous, very
sort of
prestigious, very
taciturn.
Well, yeah, taciturn, but like he knows the value of appearance. He knows the value of what he wants to present, because like the way you show yourself to someone is the way they're going to perceive you.
I mean, this is normally a trait for like virtuous, but it's usually pretty important, like with Hannibal, with like this sort of like hard honesty with yourself and others.
Right.
Of who, like, I don't know, just this.
I think. Well, like in the same way that Hannibal,
like pulling it out of Clarice, like why she's in the FBI.
Well, like in the way that Hannibal also holds himself to a standard, I think Thrawn very much, even though he's a villain, he's holding himself to a very high standard.
Right.
Like, he's not going to come up with a game plan that could go wrong. Like he strikes me as almost like remember like the scene with Tarkin and Bass?
Gustavo from Breaking Bad.
Right, yeah.
Would be a good example.
But like remember like when Chief Bass comes up to Tarkin and goes, I value, like, the droids have viewed the attack and there is a chance we could lose.
Right.
Thrawn, unlike Tarkin, where Tarkin's like, oh, no, that can't happen.
This is the Death Star. This is the fucking Death Star.
Thrawn would go, yeah, you're right, and then start, like...
Probably figuring out, like... Well, when Chief Bast said that to Tarkin...
It's a hubris thing
Did Bast know that they were going for the... Did he know what the actual threat was, or were they just saying, like, they're doing something and we don't know what it is?
I don't know about that.
The idea is, like, they're clearly up to something. We just don't know what they're doing.
My understanding for that scene was droids, people, whatever, analyze the situation. And
analyze their attack, and there's a danger. So did they actually know, at that point, did they know that, oh, if they shoot this thing down this thing,
I don't think
we're going to blow up?
I will say, I'm going to have to rewatch the episode when we're not just, like, bullshitting over top of it. But, like, I didn't hate this episode. It was an exposition-heavy episode, and I can see why...
Exposition-heavy. Okay, well...
and I can see why they want to do episode 1 and 2 as a lump sum.
Yeah.
You know.
There was a couple action scenes. I do want to talk a little bit about that lightsaber fight at the end. Because I don't know anything about Sabine. You saying she has no force...
as far as I know, she's not... Like, unless this is something they're going to show now...
When I'm going into editing and I look at this, so we'll see what if I find anything. But,
well, my understanding from the Rebels show is she did not have any force powers before.
So, I mean, is she absurdly skilled at combat? Or, like, what...
She was a Mando.
Okay, she is a Mando. Okay.
So, but at the same time...
The same Mandos that got bested by, like, crocodiles and pterodactyls? Like those Mandos?
I think she's the same.
Or is this a Mando that's better than those Mandos?
I mean,
the Mandos I saw in the Mando show are not competent.
Here's the thing, though, about Force users versus non-Force users. Star Wars has painted the Force users as so OP, like overpowered.
Well, that's why I'm wondering why that fight wasn't one-sided.
Right. Like, she should just instantly just force grab the lightsaber.
Yeah, why even fight?
Right.
Like, I don't know.
And that's the problem with storytelling in Star Wars sometimes.
No, so what I was getting at with the bad people, the bad lady in the Sabine fight, is it sort of painted Sabine as she's obviously not very powerful, she's not very good, she's fucking fighting evenly and not doing well against presumably somebody who has no force powers.
Well, Sabine is the one who has no force powers.
Yeah. I mean, we're setting up the bad guy to be sort of incompetent, right? But she's just the apprentice, so maybe she'll get chided, or
so I don't know if this is supposed to set her up as not being good, or if it's supposed to make us think that Sabine is that good.
Well, it's either one or the other. But like,
right.
I'm hoping that it's like, well, if she's not force sensitive or anything, and she did that, then that's pretty insanely impressive.
I feel like it's a storytelling shorthand.
You're doing the thing with Kylo, where Kylo is all of a sudden supposed to be the big bad, but then like he keeps getting bested every movie. Like, well,
it's a storytelling shorthand where it's tell, not show. And I feel like Star Wars leans on it heavier than most franchises. Where, like, Sabine, who does not have force powers, is shown to go toe-to-toe with someone into the final scene where she gets run through. But it happens to be right as Ahsoka lands, so I'm assuming Ahsoka will save her.
Well, yeah, that's...
But, like, in the same hand, though, like, we know enough about Jedi to know that, like, in theory, that Dark Jedi should just own her right out the gate.
Now, is Ahsoka going to force heal her? Or are we
I don't know about that.
Like, or are we going to give her, like
a medic?
If Ahsoka has the force heal, what are you going to do?
I don't really care.
That's
no. Honestly, whatever. I don't really care about that.
That's the power Anakin wanted.
Well, my point is they want to show us that Sabine is a strong character. Great. Cool. They do it at the expense of the bad guy and showing them going toe-to-toe, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but when you put it in the greater context of what we know about the Star Wars universe as a whole, and you go, wait, they have magic. That bad guy has magic that should basically stop everything this good guy is doing.
Yeah.
And she's ignoring that to just fight toe-to-toe. Mm-hmm. And if they showed us enough about that character ahead of time and showed that she wanted to fight toe-to-toe and didn't care, that's fine. But they didn't show us that.
Star Wars is really bad with force ability usages because Disney is treating it hardcore like a video game at this point. Like, in the Obi-Wan show, you got that scene where Vader rips that ship down from orbit, and it turns out it's a decoy, and the real ship takes up right next to it,
right,
and then Vader just watches it go away, and he's not using the ability he just used.
Showed a bar on the screen.
Yeah, it's like Vader's cooldown for that ability. He has to wait 2 minutes until that ability comes back again.
Then show us that then.
And then you're wondering, like, wait, why didn't he do that in Empire Strikes Back when the Falcon leaves Hoth? Like, you just start making up these crazy powers. It's like, well, he's Vader, he's badass, he can do all this shit. It's like, yeah, but if you're going too crazy with him, it makes him look like a tool in the original. We got another episode to watch. Are you ready for the second episode?
I gotta urinate.
Okay, well, we'll take a fiver.